Vítejte v Anglii, zemi nejrůznějších kultur a tradic. Jednou z překvapivých tradic je místní transvestitismus a travesty. Angličtí muži, na rozdíl od těch našich, se tu velmi rádi a velmi často z nejrůznějších důvodů převlékají za ženy. Proč a odkdy tomu tak je, jsem se snažil zjistit během návštěvy Manchesteru, Londýna a Brightonu.
Well, ladies and gentlemen.
We have in the UK a very big tradition of cross-dressing.
Hello, Czechoslovakia.
You're not welcome in here, because this is not a suit.
Oh, Jessica from Britannia. Mwah.
I'm a drag queen, I'm not a transvestite.
So, yo,
Začal jsem v centru Manchesteru, kde je v okolí Canal Street takzvaná Gay Village. Ta od zhruba 80. let minulého století slouží nejen jako zdroj zábavy a seznámení gayů a leseb, ale také jako útočiště transvestitů, transsexuálů a travesty umělkyň.
Listen, he's from Gossip. We don't.
yeah, we know it.
Come on.
Wow.
Bloody camera.
Oh, watch my makeup, honey. Watch my makeup.
Yes. You pay a good fortune.
See you on TV.
I hope so. I'm not fucking happy with it. Come on.
Hey, listen.
Oh look, he's zooming in on you.
Anyway,
You're gonna be on Manchester Confidential.
I was fucking right there.
Dozvěděl jsem se o dvou podnikách, kde se scházejí zejména starší transvestiti. Jenže natočit takové pány v levných parukách a se šminkami z papírnictví není vůbec jednoduché. A ještě složitější je natočit ty pány, kteří o ty jiné pány v parukách mají zájem. Byla místa, kde jsem musel točit tajně. V baru Šedá husa jsem pak narazil na jednu jedinou pamětnici, která se nestyděla promluvit na kameru. Ovšem v rohu a potají.
I think cross-dressing has to a certain extent been liked in this country because of Shakespeare. I mean, Shakespeare's day, women was not allowed on the theatre, so men had to cross-dress. And if you look at Tudor times, they did wear ties. So there has been a history of cross-dressing for quite a number of years in England. I think ever since it's been kind of underground, and only now it's been, this past couple of years, acceptable. We've had people, EastEnders and soap operas and on the TV and in plays cross-dressing. I mean, I do this as part-time as a form of escape. I quite like it. It's acceptable to my feminist side, like the music and artistic side. I like the clothes. The clothes are much more expressive than male clothes. I mean, I come in here, I'm dressed as a woman, I can go in the toilets, I can go in the women's toilets, I can't really go in the men's, I can't go into men-only bars, such as the Rembrandt and the Eagle, I can't go there. So yes, it's home from home.
Další bar byl o něco vstřícnější a o fenoménu crossdresserů, transvestitů a transsexuálů mi povyprávěl pan John.
I've been coming here since probably the last 30 years probably to this bar. It's well established. It's always been friendly towards the T-girls, cross-gender, the drag queens. It's a place where we can go, where it's safe, and can just mingle between ourselves and in a safe environment.
So you've got the straight guys who like the trans in a sexual and romantic way, and you also have the straight men who are the trans themselves. They come in with the wives or their girlfriends, and it's nice to see how supportive they can be when you've been married for a long time and then your husband turns around and says, I want to dress up as a lady, then, it's absolutely fine. They'll come in here and they'll enjoy themselves and, everyone's accepting, no one judges. It's amazing, really.
My own story is I started off as a drag queen. I hid behind the fact that I could do shows and things like this. But really, I enjoy the dressing. I enjoy the feeling it gives me. I like the response it gives me through people. And it does make people happy. When someone walks in a room, they want to talk to you. Where if I come out just as John, no one wants to speak to you. So it does cause a good feeling. These days, the groups that can, like you say, the drag, the cross-gender, are mixing better together. they're learning off each other. Like the transgender sometimes need help in the sense of how to do things, and the drag queens will show them how to do it. So it is evolving quite well.
Travesty umělkyň je v Anglii velmi mnoho. Já jsem si vybral ty, pro které je vystupování hlavním pracovním poměrem a které zpívají naživo. První z nich byla Divina de Campo. Jejíž jméno by se dalo volně přeložit jako božská v afektu.
Just finishing packing for going to Glasgow. Going all the way there tonight. Jumping in the car. Oh, 4-hour drive.
Ta se proslavila hlavně tím, že se loni zúčastnila známé talentové televizní soutěže.
Yeah, I'm done. That's it. Packed and ready. For me, it was a really great experience. I went with that song knowing that they wouldn't turn around. You know, my diary was full, kids. I couldn't fit anything else in anyway. It did exactly what I wanted it to do, which was just raise my profile a bit. Oh my God, if I'd known what you'd look like, I'd have turned round.
Druhou divou byl pan Wayne, který vystupuje pod jménem Cara Van Park, tedy doslova Caravan Park, neboli parkoviště přívěsů. Vystupuje jak v Londýně, tak v Brightonu, pro homo i heterosexuální publikum. Kromě toho je čestným členem a maskotem brightonského rugbyového týmu.
Hi. You've actually just caught me doing a wig. Strangely enough, this isn't actually anything to do with Cara. Well, I suppose it is. It is in a lot of ways. One of the players of the rugby club is having a big fancy dress party. He wants to have a theme for it, and the theme is The Great Gatsby. So therefore, it's all very 1920s and very stylish and very, elegant. Not only does he want it to be The Great Gatsby, but he wants everybody, which is really quite amazing, he wants everybody in drag.
Ladies, hello! Where the hell have you lot come from? Across the road. Is it that boring? Lock the fucking doors before they leave, quick. Welcome to the Bedford Tavern!
I started doing drag performance completely by accident, total accident. I was a performer in musical theatre in the West End of London, doing the big musical shows. Shows like Fame and Les Miserables and the National Theatre and things. And I kind of got bored with it all. The industry had changed so much. It wasn't the industry that I first went into and that I'd become so proud to be a part of. Then I got asked if I would do a guest spot for a drag show for charity, and I agreed to do this night as a one-off in drag, which was something I'd never wanted to do ever. I had no desire to do it, but I did it. And it went really well, and so well, in fact, that there were people who had venues, they owned venues in London, and they offered me work straight away.
I love you, baby, like a flower loves spring. And I love you, baby, just like Cara loves to sing. I love you, baby, like a schoolboy loves his pen. I love you, baby, river deep, mountain high. Ladies and gentlemen, I would normally do a dance break at this point, to be honest with you, I really can't be bothered. So, please raise your glasses. Cheers, everybody! Happy Saturday!
Pojďme ale zůstat zatím ve východním Londýně, kde žije režisér Colin Rothbard, který o jedné specifické východolondýnské travesty scéně točil 6 let dokument Dressed as a Girl, tedy Převlečen za dívku.
Hi. Colin, your guest's here.
TV guide, catch up, on demand. Search and discover, my shows and recording. Search and discover. Yeah. How do I find Dressed as a Girl? It's in the gay section, isn't it? Gay and lesbian. Okay.
You can see it playing in the background.
Well, that's the idea, but I can't see it. Hold on. Oh, right, got it. Okay, and then I just press.
There I go.
Yes, you can go. All right, see you later. Bye. Thanks.
Some say the word drag comes from Shakespeare's notes when he wanted boys to dress as a girl. Some say it doesn't. Who cares? I just think drag is an excuse to put on women's clothes and set yourself free.
Myself and Holstar, who's one of the performers in the film, the tranny with a fanny, were on holiday in Goa in 2009, and she said to me, how come there hasn't been a British version of Paris is Burning, that seminal film about the 80s Vogue ball scene in New York? Why don't we make one together? I know all the performers, you work in TV. And so the idea was born, and we went along to Glastonbury in 2009. Everyone that goes to Glastonbury, I think by nature is, on the whole, very open-minded. They like popular culture. So it's very common to see, parents with their kids dancing to sort of, Carl Cox in a DJ tent, or, hanging out with the drag queens at the down low. Straight people sort of like are queuing up, straight boys are queuing up around the block. It's the sort of like the hottest ticket in the whole festival because everyone knows it's really, really good fun.
Brighton je nejen anglické hlavní město gayů, leseb a trans všech genderů, ale také oblíbená lokalita rozluček se svobodou. Caravan Park tu má díky tomu o víkendu až 3 vystoupení za večer. Aby se jí během večera neroztekl make-up po celém obličeji, potřebuje kvalitní šminky. Ty ale většinou chodí kupovat jako Wayne.
Your gel liners. I'm looking for a brown gel liner so I can do my eyebrows. So they used to do one here, but they don't do it anymore. So I'm gonna have to go somewhere else to get it, which is a pain, but it's okay. We'll get one.
It's called eyebrow wax, and it's basically a wax that I use to stick down my eyebrows so that I can kind of blank them out as if they're not there, to be able to draw the eyebrows that I want in the place that I want them and the shape that I want.
Do you shave your eyebrows?
Yeah, like I didn't used to. I've only just started doing it. But it saves me about 15 minutes every day, which if you're doing drag 5 or 6 times a week is a lot of time a week.
Do you miss it?
No, not really. Like, my hair was really long until the start of this year, and I don't miss that either. I just chopped it all off and was like, why haven't I done this before?
Britain has a very long history of drag performers, and they've kind of been taken into the hearts of the British public from years ago. One of the best drag performers that we had in Britain that kind of made things more mainstream to a huge audience was a performer called Danny LaRue.
See, this is the thing with Danny LaRue, was the costumes were just amazing. Always absolutely gorgeous. And the wigs and the jewellery and everything.
Straight men loved him, women adored him because of how he looked, his legs, and he was a little bit cheeky, a little bit saucy, but everything was just amazing.
We have a strong tradition in this country anyway of drag.
There's a huge tradition of, I wouldn't even say it's drag queens, but pantomime dames, for example.
Which is a very specific form of drag, usually. You know, it's ridiculous makeup and it's clearly a man in a dress.
And was always never really even associated with being gay. It was just seen as something that was a bit comedic.
Particularly, you know, homosexuality was still illegal, so being a transvestite or transsexual, nobody even would have talked about that stuff, never mind accepted it. Whereas actually what Danny LaRue did was he would create the illusion of being a woman, and then his big rule was breaking it. So you create this illusion, and then he goes, "Watcha, mate?" So then everybody in the audience knows it's a joke and they all chill out and it's all fine because everybody's in on the same joke. You know, that's what made it acceptable for people.
And what can she offer her fatherless child, poor little... She has brought into the world all together now. Only a glass of champagne.
We've had people like Lily Savage, who was another one that kind of came into the mainstream and was taken into the hearts of the British public. She was a character, a title character.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Buckenhead's most celebrated daughter, the blonde bombshell herself, Miss Lily Savage.
Title character. Liverpool housewife, who was a bit of a slut, really. Very common, and very, very funny.
What about those Tiller girls, the original 60s Tiller girls? Aren't they marvellous? And you might have noticed that they're not exactly 18. But they can't half get their legs up, I tell you. There's hormone replacement therapy patches shooting off all over the studio, I tell you, in rehearsals.
So it kind of brought drag into the mainstream and made it acceptable. Acceptable to do it. And it, as opposed to it being something that was only seen mainly in gay venues, in gay clubs and bars and stuff.
I think once that starts to cross over more into the mainstream and gender becomes less of an issue for everybody, then probably then drag has reached its peak because it's done its job.
Will it still be funny though? Because you're making fun of the stereotypes.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's also making fun of lots of other things. You know, it can't just be making fun of the stereotype. It has to be pulling things from popular culture and from politics and from the economic sphere, and you know, it's all of those things. So it's a social commentary as well as, you know, a gender statement.
Drag queens, or those people who were dressing in drag, were sort of very political. You know, obviously it was drag queens that started the Stonewall riots. It was, you know, drag queens who I suppose also stand up and are the most visible sort of proponents for gay rights. So I think that there's definitely a way to use drag to get a political message across.
Politickou travesti se zabývá i Lassana Shabazz, který v rámci večerů pod názvem Bar Whatever během měsíce LGBT historie vystoupil s poměrně šokujícím vystoupením.
Hola, 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 hola. A little bit of contouring.
Contour your life away, darling. I have created a performance about one of the notorious murders of the last century. A young boy was murdered in Mississippi, and it wasn't the murder that made it so notorious, it was the way he was murdered. He was basically mutilated, and he was only 14 years old, and that sparked the civil rights movement. So I'm doing a performance exploring that, because the woman who put that murder into motion claims that he sexually assaulted her. In fact, she claimed that he raped her or tried to rape her. He's actually come out a couple of weeks ago and confessed that she lied about the whole thing. And she's the only one left alive. So Emmett's mother is dead and her husband is dead and everyone else involved is dead. So I think it's a story that needs to be re-explored. And a story that I think given the fact that, you know, this young boy was killed just because of a lie, and quite a malicious lie that didn't have to be told, is horrible. It's vicious.
He hadn't done anything except be a Negro. And they took him to a shack, and they pulled down his pants, they spread his legs, and they sliced off his scrotum, put it in a coffee cup.
It's sort of like doing the History Month for marginalized groups. So the LGBT History Month became one. And yeah, so it's really important because then we can sort of like lift things up to the surface again, that maybe it's our life, but it happened 10 years ago, and certain people now didn't know that that happened 10 years ago or didn't know that existed then.
Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with glue? Because I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like the moons and the suns, with the certainty of tides. Just like the hope springing high, still I'll rise.
There's so many platforms with drag. A lot of the platforms are entertainment, but there are also platforms for exploring politics. I think there's definitely a place for entertainment, and I think entertainment is important. For me, what's really gets me going is performances that, you know, really say something.
The body is that of an overweight, non-developed black male, measuring 60 inches, weighing 118 pounds, appearing generally fat, with the stated age of 14. The victim had no tattoos or piercings. His name was Emmett Till.
I've done full drag a couple of times as a girl, but I find it quite boring. Because I just feel that there's so much more that you can do and so much more that you can explore. And I feel the whole point of drag is not conforming in any way, and I feel that fitting in a box is very much conforming.
This is why we need to share stories. This is why we need live performance now and then. That is why we need to sort of like feel something. So, thank you so much. That was amazing. Thank you.
Let's go live. There we go. We are now live. Yay. Hello, Hayley. How you doing, darling? Do you realise there's a pervert with a camera behind you? No, I don't think so. Don't believe you. I'm doing porn and he's a pervert.
When most men dress up as women, they go very over the top. The people that we sort of like tend to like are your exaggerated women like Alexis, you know, Joan Collins in Dynasty, all these sort of like larger-than-life women, Zsa Zsa Gabor, you know, who else is there? You know, Liz Taylor, all these sort of like, they're always sort of like women who've like defied the odds, are very glamorous, big shoulder pads, but they've always got that underlying bit of tragedy in their lives as well, like, you know, whether it's, you know, husbands dying, getting divorced, weight problems, all that sort of thing, you know, and they accessorise with big jewellery, larger-than-life breasts and all, and everything is exaggerated because it's fun.
But there is a misconception about drag is mocking women. It is most definitely not mocking women. You know, as a drag queen, I'm not mocking women. That is not what I'm about. It's about mocking society's expectations of what a woman should be. And it's the same with drag kings. It's not actually about mocking men, it's about mocking the expectation of what a man should be. It's about taking off those ridiculous stereotypes and highlighting it. That's what it's about. It's putting a lens on it, turning it on its head and making it look ridiculous, which actually it is. You know, this is something which has been bred into all of us to behave a specific way, and there's no reason for it, you know. It doesn't actually make any sense. There she is.
There she is.
Subtle. That's what we like, subtle. Don't do anything, you know, too outrageous.
Till you pick by Roo.